Good morning. Governor Markell, elected officials, faculty, staff, alumni, students and administrators of Delaware Tech, delegates from other colleges and universities, members of Dr. Brainard's family, and other special guests. On behalf of the Board of Trustees of Delaware Technical Community College, welcome to the inauguration of Dr. Mark T. Brainard, 5th President of Delaware Technical Community College. I am John Maiorano, and the Vice President of the Board of Trustees. I also have the distinction and the honor of being the longest-serving board member for the college, having been appointed and reappointed, thank you, Governor, to the board for more than 40 years. I hope that history judges this service well done. As board members, we are responsible for selecting the college president and granting degrees at graduation. Our reward for doing our job right is a strong educational institution serving students and our state, and also when the graduates walk over to us and we hand them their diplomas. We have helped make their lives better. Let me take a moment to introduce my colleagues on the board. I ask that they stand when I call their names. Please hold your applause until we have them all on their feet, and we will do that for all the others I have to introduce as well. Thank you. The first is our newest board member, Mrs. Lolita A. Lopez. She's President and Chief Executive Officer for Westside Family Healthcare. Our next is Mr. Robert E. Haggerty, Technical Director and Managing Director for J. Morgan Chase. Mr. Norman Griffiths, retired attorney for the DuPont Company. Mr. Bill Bush, an active attorney. Mrs. Patty Grimes, Executive Director for the Carl M. Freeman, wait, there's more, Foundation, and Joshua M. Freeman Foundation. And finally, Mr. Scott Green, Chairman of our Board of Trustees and Executive Director for the Delaware River and Bay Authority. Let's give them a round of applause, please. Thank you. Please be seated. I have had the pleasure of serving on the board during the tenure of all 5 presidents of the Delaware Technical Community College. 2 of our former presidents are with us today. I will ask that they please stand to be recognized. Please hold your applause. The first is Dr. John Arcatula. He was the college's 2nd president from 1978 to 1992. Jack is up front here. The second is Dr. Orlando J. George, Jr. He was Delaware Tech's 4th president and served in this role from 1995 to 2014. Dr. George. We are so glad that you are with us today, both of you. Please join me in thanking Jack, and I just already did that, visions and contributions to the success of this great institution over the past 50 years. We also have a former board member in attendance, Mrs. Audrey Van Leuven, who served on the board from 2008 to 2016. Audrey is the Senior Vice President and Chief Human Resources Officer at the Christiana Care Health Services. Audrey, please stand so that we can recognize you for your years of service to the Delaware Tech Board. Thank you.
Mark Stellini is also here in the back.
Okay. And I'd like to recognize the previous board chairman, Mark Stellini, if he will please stand and be recognized. Thank you. I would also like to introduce some of Dr. Brainard's family in the audience today. Please hold your applause. Delaware Tech's First Lady, Mark's wife, Charlotte, here in the first row. Their children, Mark and Bridget, please stand. And Dr. Brainard's mother, Regina. They are joined by many other members of the family. I ask that Dr. Brainard's entire family stand. Okay. And finally, I went over this thing 3 times. And finally, on behalf of the Board of Trustees, I would like to thank Governor Jack Markell for serving as our guest speaker today, and President Pro Tem, Senator Patty Blevins, and Speaker of the House, Representative Pete Schwarzkopf, for for representing Delaware's General Assembly and participating in today's ceremony. Other distinguished members of our platform will be introduced later in the program. Today, we are here to formally install Dr. Mark T. Brainard as Delaware Technical Community College's 5th president. While Mark has been serving in this role for well over a year, it was important to him that this event be held in conjunction with the college's 50th anniversary. To that end, we kicked off the week on Monday with a picnic in Georgetown at the Owens campus, the birthplace of Delaware Tech. The event was reminiscent of the old 4th of July celebrations held at that campus, and an enjoyable time was had by all. Our appreciation to Dr. Ileana Smith and her team for hosting the entire community for this very meaningful 50th anniversary celebration. On Tuesday, we showcased the history of the college and hosted legislators and other government leaders at our Terry campus in Dover. 6 former board members in attendance were honored, and we heard from the descendants of 3 individuals who were instrumental in the establishment of Delaware Tech. These individuals were former Governor Charles L. Terry Jr., Dr. Bill Carter, and Paul K. Weatherly, the first president of Delaware Tech. Dr. Brainard did an exceptional job as the host moderator in drawing several interesting stories from the panelists. Many thanks to Dr. June Taransky and her team for hosting this wonderful trip down memory lane. This week will end on Friday with a reception at the Stanton campus hosted by Dr. Kathy Janvier, the employees of the Stanton and George campuses. The site of this event is especially meaningful, as this is the campus from which Mark graduated and launched his successful ongoing career. But today's event is about honoring Dr. Mark T. Brainard and formally endowing him with the powers and responsibilities of the presidency. This installation ceremony also provides him with a platform to discuss his vision for the college and what it takes to be successful for the next 50 years and beyond. And finally, it gives all of us the opportunity to come together, recommit to the mission of this great institution, and celebrate the many ways that together we deliver the excellence and continue to change the lives of those who touch us each and every day. Thank you for being part of today's celebration of Delaware Tech and its students. I now present to you the presiding officer of today's program, Mrs. Justina Zapna, Vice President for Academic Affairs. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mariano. We are honored and grateful to have you serving as Vice Chairman of our Board of Trustees. Your dedication to Delaware Tech and our students over the past 40 years is unprecedented, and the college has benefited greatly from your service. During an inauguration, it is customary for colleges to invite representatives from various internal and external groups to offer greetings to the president. Bringing greetings from Delaware Technical Community College faculty, Ms. Carrie Fawcett, Department Chair of Developmental Studies at the Jack F. Owens campus.
Good morning. On behalf of Delaware Tech faculty, I am honored to welcome Dr. Mark Brainard as President of Delaware Technical Community College. I think all of us can agree that Delaware Tech provides opportunity for students and for faculty like me. My career at Delaware Tech began with a unique and amazing opportunity. I met Dr. Brainard in June 1997 when I was 21 years old and had just graduated from Salisbury University with a degree in elementary education. Like many other college graduates, I was busy completing applications in the hopes of beginning my teaching career when I learned of Delaware Tech's new initiative to hire recent college graduates for entry-level teaching positions. I applied and was called for an interview. I remember the day of the interview vividly. This was my first interview for a teaching position, and I was nervous. As I walked in the room, I was greeted with warm smiles and friendly handshakes from several Delaware Tech administrators, faculty, and Dr. Brainard. I immediately felt a sense of comfort and encouragement. I knew that day when I left the interview that Delaware Tech was a special place, but I never dreamed it would be where I would start my career, a career that has provided me with more opportunities both professionally and personally than I could have ever predicted as a 21-year-old college graduate. The faculty at Delaware Tech support you, Dr. Brainard, as our new president. We accept your challenge to innovate and offer more opportunities to one another, our students, and our community. Your warmth, sincerity, and encouragement have created a climate where our students can thrive, and as faculty, we are proud to follow your example. John Quincy Adams said, "If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader." Your actions inspire us to dream big, and they motivate us to think of new ways to support our students. Dr. Brainard, today is a joyous day for you and for Delaware Tech. We thank you and look forward to working beside you to deliver excellence and change lives for our students and community. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
I now introduce Ms. Natalie Washington, Program Manager at the Orlando J. George Jr. Campus, who brings greetings from Delaware Tech's staff.
It is a privilege to greet you this morning, but it's a greater honor because I stand here on behalf of the finest men and women in this work. And by this work, I mean the work of changing lives. It's been said that the grass is greener on the other side, but I believe the grass is greener on the side that gets watered. It's almost poetic that Delaware Tech's colors are grassy green and watery blue. Comparatively, I've learned the benefits of preserving, investing in, and growing an all-inclusive community. And Dr. Brainard's recent initiatives have once again proven that. Beginning with work-life balance, where employees are seen as assets and celebrated often. Or his open invitation to every employee to be innovative and creative with the end goal of student success. And finally, providing educational pathways where Delaware Tech has a hand in producing a qualified workforce. Dr. Brainard recently shared that we are the only organization in the state connecting people with jobs. That is true now, and it was true in September 1967 when 368 students enrolled at Delaware Tech, encouraged by the slogan, "A job for every graduate, a graduate for every job." This promise of hope is what brought me here and what continues to bring the community through Delaware Tech's doors. For me, I grew up hearing the sound of privilege that I wasn't born into, and I was almost convinced that I will never have a life of privilege. But access to programs at a community college not only embraced this little girl from the Bronx, but also introduced her to her potential. Much like me and many of our students, Dr. Brainard was also a non-traditional first-generation student. And his belief that education is the great equalizer is true for him, it is true for me, it's true for you, and it rings true for the thousands of students who have entered the doors of Delaware Tech. We are not only Delaware's community college, but we are also the college for the community. In Dr. Brainard's words, community is not just part of our name, it's at the heart of our mission. Thank you, Dr. Brainard, for leading Delaware Tech as we continue to serve others through our mission. Thank you.
Beautiful job. Thanks so much.
It is now my pleasure to introduce Major David P. Strawbridge, who represents Delaware Tech students. He is a director of military and veteran services at the college. a member of the U.S. Air Force Reserves, and a former student.
Thank you. Good morning. I am honored to bring greetings as a former student. My story is after 6 years in the Air Force and having never set foot in a college classroom, I enrolled in courses at Delaware Tech, all of which transferred to the Community College of the Air Force and led to my college degree. This college built my foundation of higher learning, which ultimately led to my commission as an Air Force officer. With approximately 1,200 military members, veterans, and dependents enrolling each year, I trust that I am just one of thousands of stories whose educational accomplishments turned into professional success. On a full-time basis, I am the Director of Military and Veteran Services at Delaware Tech. But on a part-time basis, I am an Air Force Reserve officer. Today, with the backing of my military chain of command, I wear the uniform to represent the thousands of veterans who have attended Delaware Tech over the past 50 years and who have a bright and supportive future moving forward under Dr. Brainard. Dr. Brainard, whose family has a history of military service, has always had a great respect and admiration for the military and their families who've sacrificed so much. In 2011, he wanted to ensure that each military member or veteran who came through the campus door was treated like a VIP. Hence, Veterans Inspiring Progress, a student veteran organization, was born. This college-wide organization provides an avenue for this demographic of heroes to network, share experiences, collaborate, and ultimately to lean on each other. But VIP was only the beginning. Under Dr. Brainard's direction, the college applied for and has been recognized as a military-friendly school since 2015. We've expanded veteran support activities across our campuses and have strengthened the partnerships with U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, Delaware Joining Forces, Delaware military institutions, various nonprofits, and area businesses, all of whom support our student veterans. Because of Dr. Brainard's leadership and vision, Delaware Tech is on the map as a community leader in education and success amongst Delaware veterans and veteran service organizations. Dr. Brainard, on behalf of those military members, veterans, and family members that are part of the Delaware Tech family, I thank you for your commitment, your advocacy, and your support. And for that, sir, I salute you.
I am now very pleased to introduce Ms. Ajanique Dandy, a recent graduate from the Charles L. Terry Jr. campus, to bring greetings on behalf of Delaware Tech alumni.
Good morning. If there is a quote that captures Dr. Brainard's leadership style perfectly, this would be it. You don't lead by pointing and telling people someplace to go. You lead by going to that place first and then making your case. Ken Kesey. Dr. Brainard always leads by example, as evidenced by his involvement with student government and participation at their meetings, his attendance at the National PTK Nerd Nation Convention, and his overall support of PTK, and his gracious presence at many campus-based student-related functions. Dr. Brainard always makes himself easily accessible and relatable to students like myself. He never turns down the opportunity to proudly share his story about how he started as a student at Delaware Tech and through hard work and dedication became the president of this alma mater. This fact is itself so inspiring. We know from watching him that our accomplishments are limitless if we persevere and persist. Most importantly, what makes Dr. Brainard a great leader is his willingness to take the time to develop other future leaders. As he has done for so many others, he has directly taken me under his wing since I became the president of SGA at the Terry campus and Delaware's New Century Scholar. He has shown me by example what being in a position of power should look like. It should be fashioned with good character, it should be rich in service, and it should be grounded in knowledge and humility. I am proud to represent the alumni of Delaware Tech and recognize Dr. Brainard's excellence as both a role model and the person to lead Delaware Technical Community College into a bright future.
You did a great job. Thanks so much.
Delaware Tech is very proud of its strong and successful partnerships with Delaware's high schools, as evidenced by a number of superintendents in attendance today. Thank you for joining us. It is now my pleasure to introduce Mr. Merv Dougherty, Superintendent of Red Clay Consolidated School District.
Good morning. I'm honored to speak on behalf of Public Education and the superintendents of Delaware. I'm also a proud father of my Cab Calloway singers. I feel like I stalk them all the time. Every time I'm speaking, they're singing, so I guess we have a summer tour here. Eleanor Roosevelt stated, "The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams and the success of others." Dr. Mark Brainard's leadership and philosophy has embraced this quote by allowing students, school districts, community members, and partners to assist those attending this institution. His insight and vision to collaborate and partner with school districts throughout the state has opened the door for those wanting to expand their educational opportunities and career pathways. For example, dual enrollment courses, college and career pathways, the Construction of Innovation Project, Manufacturing Initiative, and the College Academy are just a few of Dr. Brainard's visionary approach that have benefited students, that will benefit employers in the future. There is no doubt that this opportunity and these opportunities that Dr. Brainard is instilling will benefit the entire Delaware community. I can speak personally because he has partnered with Red Clay with 9 dual enrollment courses, the Construction and the Manufacturing Project, which is now a statewide initiative, pre-K education, and the College Campus Initiative. He has a positive impact and a visionary approach for students. It's always amazing when I have a chance to meet with Mark. We always meet for breakfast. He has oatmeal. Not quite sure I'm into that. I forgive him. Because we have the opportunity to think outside the box. And I think in today's society, we have to start thinking further and further outside the box to meet the needs of our students. I have no doubt that every student that I send out of Red Clay to Del Tech's institutions, they're going to receive a quality education, but they're also going to receive great mentorship and counseling. He has opened the new ideas for Del Tech and the school districts. He has increased the knowledge and awareness of student needs. Not only am I, but I know the superintendents around the state are looking forward to the next decade as he clears the pathway with new ideas and creative innovations for career opportunities. I believe in Dr. Brainard's character and his vision to embrace the statement of Winston Churchill. A pessimist sees difficulty in every opportunity, but an optimist sees the opportunity in every difficult challenge. I look forward to much success as we continue to partner, as we continue to collaborate, and help every student in this state become successful. Dr. Brainard, as I have given in the last 10 graduation speeches in the last 2 weeks, as I wish the graduates of Red Clay, I wish you the same. May the Lord bless you and may he keep you. May his face shine upon you. May every step you take you find peace and joy, and may you find success in every turn you make. Dr. Brainard, I want to thank you for your leadership and integrity. God bless you.
Delaware Tech collaborates with the state's colleges and universities to secure grants, develop connected degree agreements, and establish programs that enhance educational opportunities for our students and for the residents of Delaware. I am now honored to introduce Dr. Harry L. Williams, President of Delaware State University, who brings greetings on behalf of Delaware colleges and universities.
Thank you, and good morning. It is indeed an honor today to bring greetings on behalf of all of the four-year colleges and universities and to express my sincere congratulations to my dear friend and colleague, Dr. Mark Brainard. I can personally say that Delaware Technical Community College is one of the best community colleges in America. The students who graduate from Del Tech are prepared and ready for any challenges that come before them. Thank you, Mark, for accepting this incredible opportunity to lead this great institution. The people in Delaware are blessed to have a Delawarean leading Del Tech to the next level. I'm now going to speak without my notes, and this is scary. I'm going to speak as a president to share some insights to the inside of being a president. As being a president, there's a lot that you have to do. So I'm going to do a visual here. I'm going to roll up this program, and I want you to look at this program as a baton. And as a baton, when you're a track athlete, you have to pass this baton on. Dr. Lonnie George is passing this baton on to Dr. Mark Brainard. When you have this baton and you're running, you're going to be running fast. You're going to start at the George campus. And when you leave the George campus, you're going to get on 95. And you're going to take the exit, and you're going to get to the Stanton campus. And when you leave the Stanton campus, you're going to get on Route 1. And you're going to run down Route 1. Some of the people may pick you up en route, but you're going to keep running. But when you get to Route 1, you're going to get to the Terry campus. And the people there are going to be there cheering you on, excited about you making it to the Terry campus, but you're not finished. You got to get on 13. And when you go down 13, you got to bypass Del Tech, Delaware State. And I'm going to be there waving at you when you go by. And then you're going to get where it started, at the Owens campus. And that's when people are going to be there, and they're going to continue to celebrate you, and they're going to continue to lift you up. It is an endurance race. You have to keep running. Right now, you're the lead runner, and you're going to have a lot of people trying to catch up with you. You got to keep running. You got to keep running fast, because Del Tech deserves to have a leader that's going to run and that's going to take them to the next level. And I have no doubt that Dr. Mark Brainard is that man that will continue to move you forward to the next 50 years. Congratulations, Mark.
Part of Delaware Tech's mission is to provide educational programs that are relevant and responsive to labor market and community needs. We work closely with Delaware employers to make sure that our students are job ready upon graduation. Many business leaders and employers have joined us today. Thank you for your partnership and for your support of our students. It is now my pleasure to introduce the Chief Executive Officer from one of the largest employers of Delaware Tech graduates and the largest private employer in the state of Delaware. Offering greetings from Delaware Business and Industry is Dr. Janice Nevin, CEO of Christiana Care Health Systems.
Thank you and good morning. I have to say, I think I'm a little bit out of breath after that, that last talk. So, distinguished faculty, valued students, honored guests, it is truly an honor and a privilege to bring greetings and well wishes from Delaware's business and industry community to your outstanding president, Dr. Mark Brainard. Congratulations, Mark, and congratulations to the entire community that is Delaware Tech on your 50th anniversary. Business and industry in the first state are robust and leading edge thanks to the deep roots at Delaware Tech, where many thousands of Delawareans have prepared for their careers since the college's founding in 1966. Indeed, the college is an engine that drives business and industry in the first state. Your graduates are teaching in our classrooms, managing our farms, beautifying our landscapes, preparing wonderful meals in our restaurants, caring for our patients, supporting our government agencies, and getting us where we need to go safely and efficiently. When the business community identifies a need, Del Tech, under Dr. Mark Brainard's leadership, has stepped in with innovative and high-quality educational programs that support Delaware's economic vitality. I know each year at Christiana Care, we are privileged to welcome your graduates as nurses, business professionals, allied health specialists, engineering and technical experts, and public servants. I am personally deeply grateful for our partnership in training and career development, and for my relationship with Dr. Brainard, who is a wonderful colleague. Our success is due to our extraordinary people, and many of those people are your graduates, leaders in our mission to care for our community. Thank you. You provide an education that values the needs of business and industry, and I speak for all of us when I say we are deeply appreciative. Dr. Brainard, congratulations. Thank you for your exceptional leadership, and we are looking forward to the future of our partnership with you and with Delaware Technical Community College. Thank you.
The success of Delaware Tech over the past 50 years would not have been possible without the support we receive from our elected officials. I am now very pleased to introduce Senator Patricia M. Blevins, President Pro Tem, who brings greetings from the State Senate.
Good morning. I would like to start by presenting to Dr. Brainard a resolution that was passed by both the Senate and the House, every member voting on and supporting and sponsoring this resolution. And this is a ceremonial copy of the resolution for him to keep. It's truly an honor to stand before you today as we celebrate Del Tech's 50th birthday and look forward to the exciting years that lie ahead for the school under the stewardship of Mark Brainard. I didn't get a chance to walk in my own graduation ceremony, and I have to tell you I never expected to have another chance to wear Temple University's colors, so thank you for that opportunity today. So I'm very excited to be here to honor one of my very good friends and one of Delaware's greatest public servants, Mark Brainard. As you might have read in your program or heard from other speakers today, Mark has worn a number of hats over his impressive career of service to the state. From his early public sector work and his initial stint with Del Tech, to his time with the Chamber of Commerce, his return to public service as Governor Minner's Chief of Staff, and his leadership here over the past 8 years, there's to me a common objective that ties it all together. Mark's trademark insistence on expanding opportunity for the people of Delaware. Knowing Mark for as long as I have, I honestly think that that's what drives him each and every day. Giving others every possible opportunity to be their best selves and doing it with humor, dignity, and class. When he joined my friend and colleague, Harris McDowell, as the driving forces behind the creation of the SEED Scholarship, he did it because he knew there were hundreds of kids out there with enormous potential who were working hard and would continue to do so if they knew that college might be in their future. These were kids that a generation ago may never have pursued a college degree and now hold some of the most important jobs in our state, all because they were given the opportunity. I'm not sure that would have happened without Mark Brainard. Earlier this week, I spoke before the Chamber of Commerce and talked about the incredible metamorphosis of our economy since the Great Recession. I won't get into all of those metrics here, but Delaware's recovered pretty well since things bottomed out in 2008. For my money, one of the biggest reasons for that has been the presence of Del Tech in all 3 of our counties and in our largest city, and the school's ability to adapt to a changing economy by not just offering diplomas, but by offering real-world, on-the-job training for the kinds of jobs that our 21st century demands. Institutions are, by definition, venerable and well-established, and after 50 years, Delaware Technical Community College is truly a Delaware institution and one of our best. But the reason it's such a treasure in our state is because under the leadership of past presidents and of Dr. Mark Brainard, and particularly Dr. Lonnie George before him, Del Tech has remained a nimble force for change, always adapting to prepare its students for tomorrow rather than yesterday. I have no doubt that Del Tech will continue on that impressive trajectory with Mark Brainard's leadership, and I pledge that the General Assembly will do all that we can to help him along the way.
Great, thank you.
Representative Peter C. Schwarzkopf, Speaker of the House, an alumnus of Delaware Tech, brings greetings from the State House of Representatives.
Good morning. I graduated from Indian River High School in 1972, and I was the smartest person that I knew. I knew a few things. I knew I didn't have any intention of going to college. I didn't want to go to college. I didn't want to continue school. I grew up very poor. All my friends had nice cars, nice clothes, pretty girls, and I wanted that. So I wanted to go out and work for a living. So I lifeguarded for the first summer. That doesn't count as work. But then came the real choice. I had to go find a job. So my first real job was working at Shell Poultry Plant down in Shell, Maryland. My job was to move chicken carcasses in a barrel from point to point. Lasted about 4 paychecks, maybe. My second job was King Cole Canning Company, where I had the very, very important job of working on the mixed vegetable line. That lasted about 2 months. And I realized that I had a brain in my head, and I didn't want to work like that for the rest of my life. But I didn't know what to do. I had no guidance. I had nobody to push me, nobody to tell me where to go. And I happened to be driving through Georgetown one day, and I remember a girl that was in my class who was Jack Owings' daughter. And I was riding by Del Tech, and I pulled in, got out, and wandered through the college, and I was looking at pictures on the wall. And this man came up to me, and he said, "Are you a student?" And I said, "No." He said, "Would you like to be?" I said, "I don't know." So he took me in his office, and we talked for about 2.5 hours. His name was Jim Urey. He might even be here today, I don't know. When I left after 2.5 hours, I was enrolled as a student at Delaware Technical and Community College. I was given a loan, I was given a grant, and I was given a part-time job as an electrician's helper. Somebody reached out with their hand and helped me. I was enrolled in the criminal justice curriculum. Chair of the criminal justice program was Major Ed Horney, retired from the state police. I very quickly learned what I wanted to do with my life. So between the two of them, they changed my life. I had the opportunity to expand my horizons. I had the opportunity to do something better with my life. And I have forever been grateful for that. And I've always tried to do the best job I can to make them proud of me. And that's what Del Tech did for me. So Mark, you've got a big job ahead of you. I can tell you right now, there's always going to be children that need that hand up. I have every confidence that you're the person that will never ever overlook that person. So I am eternally grateful that 50 years ago, that leaders in our state decided to create Delaware Technical and Community College. I think it was a different name at the time. Without that, I wouldn't be here. I would have never made the state police. Had I never been in the state police, I would never be in this job, and I would never be here welcoming you as the 5th president of Delaware Technical and Community College. I want to present you with a ceremonial House Concurrent Resolution number 87 that we passed in the House and the Senate yesterday, which commemorates and celebrates the 50th year anniversary of Delaware Technical and Del Tech. How's that? I never could get that right. So, thank you.
Now I gotta follow you. That was awesome. That was awesome.
thank you to all of you for your warm greetings in support of Delaware Tech. We are so pleased to have you with us on this special day. I now invite Ms. Patty A. Grimes, a member of Delaware Tech's Board of Trustees, to introduce the guest speaker for today's program.
Good morning. Today I have the honor of introducing Delaware's Governor Jack Markell as our special guest speaker. Throughout his 2 terms as governor, Governor Markell has applied innovative public and private sector experience to confront the tough challenges that have faced our state. As you may know, K-12 education has been our top priority. During his first term, Delaware won first place in President Obama's Race to the Top competition, a highly competitive federal grant. Since that time, under Governor Markell's leadership, Delaware has adopted higher learning standards, raised the bar for its teachers program, invested in early childhood education, and created a new Pathways to Prosperity plan in most of the state's high schools. Our governor also understands the importance of higher education and has been a tremendous partner and champion for Delaware Tech. He truly gets our mission of preparing Delawareans for the workforce in order to fill the needs of their local workforce. Here are just a few examples. He supported funding of the Seed Scholarship every year of his administration. In 2011, he urged the legislature to commit $10 million to fund and expand programs on each of our campuses. Programs in high demand areas like nursing and allied health and energy. He has invited the college to be a partner in strengthening career pathways in high schools across our state. And he continues to recruit companies to Delaware who need and will hire Delaware Tech graduates. In fact, Governor Markell's leadership on economic initiatives is indisputable in terms of job creation. Delaware went from one of the lowest ranking states in 2008 and 2009 to being one of the top ranking in 2013 and 2014. And Delaware holds the distinction of being the only state anywhere along the eastern seaboard to now be in the top 10. Delaware is truly lucky to have this governor at its helm. And Delaware Tech is more than proud to call him a true friend and supporter. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving a warm welcome to our governor, Jack Markell.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, good morning to everybody, and I'm going to do something which a governor in his last year can do, which is I'm going to thoroughly dispense with my prepared remarks, because I am so inspired by the greetings that were offered from this podium over the last 20 minutes or so, and because I'm so inspired by this crowd. And I would ask Mark, just take a minute to soak all this in, and I think Charlotte and Mark and Bridget and to Mark's mom, Regina, you guys just ought to stand up for a second and take a look at what is behind you. It is extraordinary. Please, seriously. It's amazing. It is amazing. And what I know, having listened to those greetings, is that the people up on this podium love you. And what I know by looking at that crowd, which is an amazing crowd, those people love you. And I have a pretty good sense of why. And the why is because you reflect two or three really remarkable traits. First of all, and I'll talk about it in a second, is you've got a real vision. The second is you get things done. And then the third is your style of leadership is never about you. And I want to talk about them in turn. So first of all, my experience as governor and sort of watching people in public life, and for that matter, leaders in private life as well, in academic institutions and healthcare and the rest, is that the great leaders have a very clear sense about how the world around us is changing and what those changes mean for the people that we all serve and what we need to do differently as a result of those changes. And I really believe, based on my experience, that Mark Brainard understands as well as anybody the implications of the changing global economy and the fact that employers have more choices than they've ever had before about where to hire, and the implications of technological advancement. We live in this world where there's probably never been a better time to be somebody with the right skills. But there's probably not been too many worse times to be somebody without the right skills. And it is that conviction, in my experience and observation, that has absolutely driven Mark to the point where he is today and to his view about where Delaware Tech must go in the future. And it has been truly my honor to work with him, first with Lonnie, who did an amazing job, and as Dr. Williams said, really handed the baton over. But I think when I look at this crowd, in addition to being a reflection of the love for Mark, it, I think, should give us, the size of this crowd should give us so much hope about the future of this institution and the future of our state, because there are so many people who have so much commitment to your success. And it's to your success, not just about you, but it's to your success leading this institution. I mentioned as well your ability to get things done. And one of my favorite lines is from Thomas Edison. He said, vision without the ability to execute it is just an hallucination. And you have proven, Mark, that you've got the vision, and we're on board with your vision, and you've also proven that you can get that vision executed and implemented. And you do so because of your style of leadership. You never take credit for yourself. You are always giving credit to your staff, your faculty, everybody who works at Delaware Tech, the entire community, whether it's people who are keeping the campuses clean or doing any of the other work, because I think you live the ideal that it really is a family and that everybody's got to be pulling in the same direction. You're always so quick to give credit to your board. And I think it is that style of leadership where you are not interested in taking the kudos for yourself, but you're interested in making sure the kudos go to where they belong, that attracts such loyalty as we heard in all of the greetings that were offered. And I think that says an awful lot. But what really strikes me even more than that is your understanding that it is always, always about the students. And you have, you have accompanied me many, many times that I've been over to the Technology Center. And you know, because you've heard me say, that visiting that center is one of the most inspiring things that I get to do as governor, because I get to meet, not only do I get to meet the young people, I get to meet people who are in mid-career. Most of them are employed, but they feel like they're underemployed. And it's hard. I mean, these are folks generally ranging from age from like their mid-20s to 60. And it is hard because it's been a long time since a lot of these folks have been in school, and they have to take and pass some really tough courses and exams all at the same time that they're working a full-time job and raising a family. And the pride that I see in you when you introduce me to these students and the support that you provide to them, it gets me, right here. So that's that population. But then your willingness to embrace these other initiatives that we have started, whether it is the Pathways to Prosperity program that Superintendent Merv Doherty talked about. This is a program that literally started 2 years ago. We just graduated the first class a couple weeks ago. 27 high school seniors just graduated. They were all focused on manufacturing. They take 600 hours of classes between their junior and senior years at Delaware Tech. They graduate with a high school diploma, with college credits under their belt, and then with a credential, a certificate that they can take to any employer to prove that they could do the job. Started 2 years ago, 27 students, and thanks to the great support of the General Assembly, this year there are 2,500 students. Next year, they're going to be nearly 6,000. From 27 to 6,000 in about 3 years. And that is an enormous commitment that Delaware Tech has had to take on, and you have not shied away from it at all. In fact, you have embraced it, and you've brought the employers to the table, and thanks in large part to your leadership, 1,000 of those nearly 6,000 next year are going to have a summer job between their junior and senior years of high school because of the cooperation with those employers. You have embraced our Generations program. This is a program for at-risk teens. And I just attended a few weeks ago. This is an amazing partnership with the McKinsey Social Initiative that took a bit to get going. Thanks to Mark's leadership, it happened. I attended a graduation a few weeks ago for 50 grads, most of them to be certified nursing assistants, some of them in customer service positions. These are 8-week and 5-week programs, 8 weeks for these CNAs, 5 weeks for the other ones. And yet, that's short. And what's amazing to me, first of all, the employers love it, and most of these students are getting jobs right away. But what the students said to me, virtually all of them used the same language. And remember, this is an 8-week program or a 5-week program. And they said, this is their words, before I started this program, I was at the bottom. I did not know if I had a future. And now, today, at my graduation, I know I have a future. I have hope. And that is because of the extraordinary work of the Delaware Tech family, led by you. I could keep going. Delaware Tech is about to start a new initiative coming out of what's called our Tech Hire initiative. We're teaching Java. And you're going to see an extraordinary increase in salary for the people who go through that program, because we're seeing it elsewhere. But what I so much respect about you, Mark, is that you not only understand the issues of policy and why this matters to our state, and you can quote the statistics as well as anybody, but what you also get, in fact, really where I think the inspiration comes from, is that you think about those statistics as individual people and individual stories and families and hope. And that's why we're all here. So it has been, really a joy to work with Delaware Tech and our other institutions of higher education while I've been governor. And I can tell you, based on this crowd and based on the support of people like Senator Blevins and Representative Schwarzkopf and their colleagues, and the support of employers throughout the state, and so many others, and the loyalty that you have engendered from all the folks who offered greetings today, we are in good hands. And we're going places. And Mark Brainard, you're going to lead the way.
Thank you, Governor Markell. We are very honored to have you join us today. Ladies and gentlemen, for the installation of Dr. Mark T. Brainard, I present to you Mr. Scott A. Green, Chairman of Delaware Technical Community College's Board of Trustees.
Good morning. Charlotte, we're killing them, aren't we? After all those great things that everybody said, I got nothing. But I am a lawyer, so I'll try. I do have a few special thank yous and welcomes. In my day job, I work in that other state across the river. I don't want to say it, but it rhymes with New Jersey. And I have occasion to work with the public higher education system over there as well. And I want to say, I'm not sure that everybody realizes quite how lucky we are in Delaware to have leaders like the three leaders that we have, and to have institutions like the three public institutions that we have that work so well. And it's really terrific to have Dr. Williams, Dr. Asanas here today, and I thank you both for being here with us. I want to also extend a special thanks to the Brainard family. You were all recognized earlier. My grandmother used to say that families often have to deal with the bittersweet, and you all have had to deal with the bitter recently, and today I'm really happy that you're here to deal with the sweet. So this is a very special and long overdue occasion, and I'm glad that you are all here for it. I personally could not be more proud than to be standing before you as the chairman of the Board of Trustees as we invest Mark Brainard as the 5th president of the Delaware Technical Community College. It's a great day. Mark is the proverbial right person in the right place at the right time for all the reasons that you heard from everybody else. I think he is literally the best person to lead this institution at this moment in our history. He's hit the ground running. Running, I think, is going to be his trademark. We heard now that Dr. Williams has laid that out for us, and I think he's made clear that the Board of Trustees made the right choice in selecting him. And especially, as we heard from Ajanique earlier, as a proud alumnus of Delaware Tech, Mark really does prove every day and inspires every day the current students of Delaware Tech that, you know, with hard work, perseverance, and an outstanding education, anything is possible. I think it's clear to most Americans that education and democracy go hand in hand, that the vitality and vibrancy of our democracy is in direct proportion to the stability of our educational system. And Mark's career that was described earlier is really a reflection of that. From his early career in the legislature, I hate to say this, 30 plus years ago, where he and I worked on redistricting in classic Brainard fashion on opposite sides of the issue, but by the end of it, he made me think that we had worked together on it. To the state chamber, to DelDOT, as Governor Minter's chief of staff, and to his career at the college. His career has really been a reflection of that linkage between education and democracy. Mark's somebody that fights for the little guy. And now he's developed a well-thought-out plan to make Del Tech the most agile, cost-effective, responsive institution of higher education that it can be. Because he knows that education is the great equalizer. Education is the great door opener. And education is the greatest weapon that we have against ignorance and corruption. Nelson Mandela said that education is the greatest weapon. It's one which you can use to change the world. Mark accepted the presidency of this college with precisely that enthusiasm and grace. And I note that grace is not a word that you often use with a lawyer that's been working in government as long as Mark has worked. But Mark knows that there's no college or university more ready and able to meet the overwhelming demands of today's workplace. You see, Delaware Tech isn't a college looking for its mission. For the past 50 years, it has been laser-focused, proudly seeking to provide education that is affordable, accessible, and relevant to the demands of the Delaware labor market and to community needs. In short, to changing the world one student at a time. So today, as we celebrate these two 50-somethings, Delaware Tech and Mark Brainard, I really think this is a moment that was meant to be. So now the reason that we're all here. It is my great privilege to formally invest Dr. Mark Brainard as the 5th president of the Delaware Technical Community College. Mark, if you would please come forward. There goes that running thing again. By the authority of the trust, and I have to, Brian Shirey said I have to get this right or he ends up being in charge of a kindergarten class someplace. By the authority of the trustees of the Delaware Technical Community College, I, Scott Green, do hereby install you, Mark T. Brainard, as the 5th president of Delaware Technical Community College, with all the duties and responsibilities incumbent upon you, and with all of the rights and privileges of the office. This medallion is a symbol of that office. I'll ask that we step in front of the board so that the entire board can bestow the medallion upon you.
You can stand up.
Congratulations, Dr.
Thank you,
Brainard.
sir. Thank you. Thanks, Bob. Thanks for everything. Thank you. Thank you, Bill. Thank you so much.
So proud of
Thank
you.
you. Thank you for being here.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you, John.
One thing, Mike.
Thank you. Thanks so much. How do I ever top that? That comedy act. How in the world do I top a Mount Pleasant kid quoting Nelson Mandela? Good morning, and thank you all for being here. Before I begin, I would like to thank all of those who made not only today possible, but this entire year of celebrating Delaware Tech's 50th anniversary, our Board of Trustees. These dedicated men and women have not only outlined a vision for this year, but they've been directly involved in the planning and execution of all of this year's events, which included the picnic Monday and the luncheon on Tuesday. And obviously, you can tell from Scott and the other members, this is one great group of people to work for. And I can speak on behalf of everyone in this room. We're darn lucky to have you, and we're very blessed that each and every one of you agreed to serve. So thank you. To our 50th anniversary task force, all those listed in the program, please look at it, and all of those on our campuses who have worked for months, really, on every single one of these events to present to the community and to present to each other the highest quality, a Delaware Tech quality, if you will. And we thank you all for doing that, and we thank John and Patty, the board liaisons, on that. Again, these employees are busy doing their regular duties, and they've agreed to take on these additional responsibilities. For all of you on the dais who brought such dignity and stature and a sense of partnership, we thank you. Merv, you are a great leader among great leaders. You're a great friend, and some of the most exciting programs we've developed in recent years have been with the high schools, and we always start with you. You're the innovator, and Dr. Williams, again, a friend, a partner, a great champion of community colleges in Delaware. Thank you for being here and offering greetings. And Dr. Dennis Asanis is here from the University of Delaware, the new president of the University of Delaware. I think it's appropriate that we give Dr. Asanis the Delaware Tech welcome for making time in his schedule. Can you please stand? Thank you. Dr. Nevin, no Delaware Tech event is ever complete without greetings from Delaware's business community, and we're truly honored to have the leader of the largest employer of our graduates, but also the largest private employer in the state here today. So thank you for being here. Madam President, Mr. Speaker, I can't say enough how much it means to everyone in the Delaware Tech community that the highest ranking members of the General Assembly are here representing your colleagues. I know Senator Poore and Senator Margaret Rose Henry, as well as a number of members of the House, are here as well. And to have the two of you here just means the world to us. So thank you very much. Members of the Delaware Tech team, Justina, Carrie, Dave, and Natalie, I've told you all many times before, knowing and working with all of you is my honor. And I can't tell you how much it means to me to have you here offer greetings on behalf of all of your colleagues. Thank you. What do I say about Ajanique? We got to offer some more love to Ajanique. She's just an amazing student. Stand up. Thank you. One of the 50 National New Century Scholars right here from Delaware Tech, and she's just an amazing young lady, so thank you very much for representing the students. That's why we're all here, for students like you, so thank you for being here. Governor, clearly it was the most meaningful gesture for the entire college community that you would make time in your schedule during the busiest time of the year in state government to be here. You have been an unbelievable partner. You've been an unbelievable fan. You've been an unbelievable advocate. You've always valued Delaware Tech. You know what we do. You know how we do it. You always helped us when you could. You mentioned the SEED Scholarship Program and Senator McDowell and Governor Minner really being an advocate for that. But you came into office during a national downturn. The economy has been horrible during the first few years of your tenure. You fully funded SEED scholarships for every year of your tenure, number one. That's a huge statement of support for students needing access. You also directed substantial funds so that we can make improvements for our campuses, and that's been a huge gesture as well. That nursing wing at the Stanton campus that you and Dr. George worked on, we sometimes refer to that as the house that Jack built, because if it wasn't for the $10 million, it would still be a plan in a desk drawer somewhere, so thank you very much. This is probably one of the few times that the entire Delaware Tech community is going to be together, so Governor, you're running your last lap. So let's thank the governor, please, for everything that he's done. Thank you. Speaking of governors, Governor Minner could not be here today, but she's live streaming. She's following us thanks to technology. So I have to say, Governor, thank you for everything you've done for the state, for Delaware Tech, and obviously for me personally. Thank you very much. I know you wanted to be here but could not. I have a list of special mentors. I'd be here all afternoon if I said what they've done for me over the years. But Bob Gilligan, John Van Sant, Tom Sharp, Richard Cordry, and obviously Lonnie George. I can't say enough about the mentoring, sometimes the direct management that I received. I think that's a good way of saying it. But if it wasn't for all of them, I wouldn't have had a career, and I want to thank them for everything they've done. All I can say today is thank you. You're here today, thank you. But I've done my best to pay it forward. I hope that means something to you as well. Okay, my family is here, and I want to thank them for being here. I have 5 brothers and sisters. We don't get together all that much, and I think it was the free lunch that got a couple of them here. But I've got 5 brothers and sisters, my brother Paul and his wife Mary, my sister Gina and her husband Pat, my brother Larry, and his wife Lisa, Marcella, many of you know as Moose, my sister, she's here. Batting ninth and pitching is Angela, my youngest sister, Angela Burke, and her husband, Cullen. Rounding out the row there, my brother-in-law, Jerry Vitak, Jr., and my mother-in-law, Charlotte Vitak, are here from California. Jerry Vitak, Sr. is here in spirit. but I wanted to make sure I thanked you for traveling so far to be here. I'm especially proud that my mother, Regina, is here, keeping a close eye on the entire row, and believe me, she can handle them. And my dad's here in spirit as well. In short, if your last name is Brainard, Moore, Vitak, Talapan, Sereno, thank you all for traveling such distances to be here. But obviously, I especially want to thank my son Mark and daughter Bridget and wife Charlotte. Now, just for the record, my kids are twice as smart, more mature, and clearly more driven than I was at their ages. So, as you can imagine, I want to spend more time with them these days than they ever want to spend with me. But they are my most important gifts in my life, and I appreciate them being here today as well. As I've said to many of you on many occasions, I've been blessed to have had many opportunities to serve in meaningful and challenging positions during my career that have provided me with personally and professionally gratifying experiences. In other words, I couldn't hold down a job, and I've been very busy. The downside to that is that I've spent an awful lot of time away from home, and some days, even when I was home, I wasn't there. And like so many of you, I really couldn't have done any of this without Charlotte holding down the fort. Whether it was me going to law school at night for 4 years, or 30-some years of being in Dover, navigating Legislative Hall. For 6 years, every time there was a hurricane, tropical storm, or serious weather event, I was working. She was taking care of the house and the kids. So needless to say, I couldn't have done any of that without her. So thank you for your love, support, and I guess most of all, patience. As you know, this year marks an important milestone for the college. For 50 years, Delaware Tech has been delivering excellence and changing lives. And we're proudly celebrating that tradition throughout this entire year with events and activities that acknowledge our short but remarkable history. This week in particular has provided an opportunity to highlight and celebrate the role of each campus in the college's success. Delaware Tech does make a difference in the lives of Delawareans. But let's be clear, it's our employees who have responded to the workforce needs of employers, upheld our standards of excellence, and have personally helped change the lives of our students. In fact, today, we recognize a transition of leadership that would not be possible without the tireless efforts of thousands of Delaware Tech employees over the past 50 years. So, if you are a current or former employee of Delaware Tech, please stand at this time. This 50th anniversary year belongs to you. This week belongs to you. Today, in fact, belongs to you. Leaders come and go, but each and every one of you, our employees, are the reason we're able to have celebrations like this. So thank you for what you've done and continue to do for Delaware Tech and all of our students. You've already done it, but please join me again in thanking our employees with a round of applause. Today, presiding over this celebration of one of Delaware's premier institutions of higher education, I'm reminded of the challenges, opportunities, and roadmaps that allow us to not only build better lives, but do what we can do to make things better for those who come after us. It was only 2 generations ago that my grandparents, all from different backgrounds and destinations, one from a farm outside of Milford, another from Philadelphia, and yet another from this small cottage in the western part of Ireland, started their families right here in Wilmington, not far from this beautiful meeting space. Their children, 6 in one family and 8 in another, will become part of the greatest generation and spend most of their early lives literally saving the world and building the country that we all enjoy today. That generation to which my parents belong would also instill in us the value of education as a way to improve our lives. The formula wasn't complicated. They insisted on learning opportunities at the earliest of ages. They insisted on strong schools in our communities and on providing access to higher education. They set an expectation that their children would go to college. Now, this is not my story. In fact, it's not even a Delaware story. It's a national story about how our parents and grandparents built the greatest country in the world by providing all of us with more opportunities than what they had. And the key to their grand strategy was real simple. It was education. So today, we're really here celebrating the power of education. Our state is blessed to be home to several great institutions of higher education, each with their own mission and their own great way of serving our communities. At Delaware Tech, our mission, our highest priority, is connecting Delawareans with jobs. For too many years, that mission, that focus on the workforce, was seen as secondary, as a fallback option for our students. But in recent years, that view has changed. What does it really mean to connect someone with a job or provide them with a career? Well, in my mind, there are a few higher callings. In fact, when I think about how Delaware Tech serves the community and fulfills our mission, I'm continually reminded of the dignity that meaningful work brings to us. Work is fundamental to our sense of dignity. It's how we build self-esteem and self-worth. It provides us with the opportunity to strive and achieve, and work enables us to take care of our families and give back to our communities. For 50 years, Delaware Tech has promised to deliver affordable, high-quality education and training that prepares our students for the world of work. For 50 years, we've promised to prepare our graduates for work that would sustain their families, meet the needs of local business and industry, and help our state's economy. And time again, and tens of thousands of graduates later, we've delivered on that promise. Delaware Tech provided and continues to provide that pathway to work. And who do we do this for? Delawareans, our neighbors. Consider our history of preparing Delawareans for careers in the healthcare industry, especially nursing. Since 1966, Delaware Tech has prepared thousands of nurses for the local workforce. And we continue to graduate more nurses annually than the other institutions of higher education in Delaware combined. In 2003, we were on the brink of a nursing shortage. Actually, we were on the cusp of a crisis. Delaware Tech expanded our nursing program, and since then, we've awarded over 5,500 nursing degrees and diplomas. Throughout this expansion, our associate degree graduates earned exemplary pass rates on the national licensure exam, and that quality continues. Today, the needs of the healthcare industry continue to change. The educational requirements for RNs have already continued to shift and made additional demands on our workforce. Delaware Tech has responded. Just a little over 1 month ago, our board approved a new program that would allow our associate degree RNs and those already working in the field to come to Delaware Tech to get a Bachelor of Science degree in nursing. Offering a BSN is not a change in our mission. In fact, it's just the opposite. It's us keeping a laser-like focus on our mission. It's a continuation of what Delaware Tech has always done. In this case, we not only responded to the workforce, we actually anticipated the need in this sector, and we acted swiftly to address it before this workforce issue actually became a crisis. We do this just not for healthcare. We do this for every sector in the economy. Our commitment to excellence is not just in nursing. In allied health alone, we offer 15 additional nationally accredited health science programs that prepare students in critical fields like dental hygiene, respiratory therapy, paramedics, and surgical technology. In the field of aviation, we offer an FAA-certified maintenance program, so our graduates can ensure the highest standards of safety for the traveling public. In business, we prepare students for the workforce, but also for acceptance into prestigious four-year programs at the University of Delaware, Delaware State University, and Wilmington University. And in the criminal justice field, we prepare graduates for careers in law enforcement and homeland security in every single community throughout the state. And the list can go on and on. Delaware Tech delivers excellence. But our tradition demands that every one of us, regardless of our age, also has the opportunity to pursue education, no matter what their station in life happens to be. They have the right to improve their lives through education. Out of that tradition, the community college was born. It's been said that American community colleges, or democracy's colleges, are much like the nation that invented them. They offer an open door to opportunity to all who would come. And while we're proud to serve people from all of our communities, I think we're most proud to serve those with the greatest needs. So let me take a minute to tell just a couple of stories that represent that. In 2008, Kathy Optenaker and her husband were both working as contractors in DuPont's engineering division. In December of that year, as a result of the national recession, Kathy lost her job. Within 2 weeks, her husband received the same news. Without a job or a prospect in sight, Kathy knew she needed to make a change, and she soon enrolled in Delaware Tech's nursing program. A few months into her first semester, Kathy was diagnosed with a detached retina and became temporarily blind. She didn't give up. Members of her family and her Delaware Tech instructors read textbooks and exam questions aloud so that she could continue to make progress. When the coursework became particularly difficult, Kathy wondered if she would make it through. It was the Helen Connon Scholarship that inspired her to keep going. As Kathy will tell you, the money was a huge help. But more importantly, the scholarship meant that someone actually believed in her. And Kathy ultimately went on and graduated, and today she's a nurse at Shipley Manor here in Wilmington. When Iraqi war veteran Dean Zanetti tried to find a job, the landscape was pretty bleak. His skills have been highly valued in the military, but he lacked the credentials that he needed by local employers to get a job. So in 2012, Dean enrolled at Delaware Tech. Despite serious medical challenges that included PTSD, Dean persisted through very difficult academic courses. And with the help of our faculty and our staff, he plodded through, persevered, and actually got through the coursework. Thanks to the college's military-friendly culture, it gave Dean a boost that he really needed, and he quickly became known as an advocate for other students like himself. In fact, he even took in homeless veterans and helped them get on track and get them into college. Last month, Dean graduated with 2 degrees in electronics engineering, one that will allow him to transfer. And we're proud to report that Dean's already started his bachelor degree program in electrical engineering, and he's on track to obtain an internship next spring at NASA. And Dean and Kathy are both with us. I'd ask them to stand at this time. Thank you. Thank you both for being here. The stories I've shared about Dean and Kathy are really just the tip of the iceberg. You all know that. If you ask every single member of the faculty in the room today, they will have countless stories like that about students they've worked with who they've helped to complete. Students who come through our front door, many through no fault of their own, They come to Delaware Tech knowing this is their last shot. Students who others gave up on. Students who might not be academic all-stars, but have displayed more grit and perseverance than many of us in this room. Students who spend countless hours in the writing centers, math labs, and with tutors, who time and time again come back and work with our faculty and staff till they're finally able to get that next passing grade, pass that next course, and move on and ultimately graduate, sometimes taking many years. These are students who never received the kind of dedicated instruction and one-on-one attention that our caring faculty provide every single day, until they found their way to Delaware Tech. So when we talk about Democracy's College, we truly mean everyone. Delaware Tech delivers excellence, but we also change lives. The question remains, what will our future look like? We're living in a world now that few could have imagined 50 years ago. When Delaware Tech was first established in 1966, employers were seeking typists and key punch operators. Today, we're creating programs to teach people how to operate complex control systems in commercial buildings, such as this one, how to collect and analyze GPS data, and how to work in a 21st century IT industry using technology we could have never envisioned. Over the next 50 years, new trends will emerge that will result in jobs that don't even exist yet. But we know that Delaware Tech will be ready because we'll do what we've always done. Delaware Tech will be ready to respond to an evolving healthcare industry in order to serve an aging population in Delaware. We'll help our communities live longer and more productive lives. We'll be ready with IT programs to prepare Delawareans for jobs, not just in that industry, but in every industry that depends on technology, such as financial services, homeland security, and engineering. We'll be ready with programs for entrepreneurs as small businesses continue to employ more and more of our workforce, and the emerging gig economy or shared economy, where these workers access our programs on demand or as needed. This will be the reality in the years ahead. In these fields and in many more, we'll be ready because we'll do what we've always done. We'll listen, we'll partner, and we'll deliver.
I think what's going to be important for Delaware Tech in the future is to continue to be a great listener as an institution, because the training that's provided is only as important as what we're hearing from employers about the skills that are needed today and the skills that will be needed in the future. And this is something that Delaware Tech has done so well in the past. They listen really, really well. They understand at a granular level what are the skills that are required, and then they figure out how to train enough people with those skills. And that's going to be just as important 25 years from now as it is today. Probably more important, because so many more jobs are requiring some kind of training beyond high school, whether it's a formal 4-year degree or a 2-year degree, or for that matter, a specialized training program. And Delaware Tech just has such an important role to play.
50 years from now, as the next generation looks back upon our progress as a community college, Delaware Tech will be judged not just on how well we responded to business and industry and the changing needs in the economy, but also on how many more of our young people we will provide a pathway for success. It's never been more important to our state than to ensure that everyone is participating in the workforce. We can no longer afford for many of our high school graduates to sit on the sidelines of our economy without the right credentials they need to secure a well-paying job. As Harvard professor Bob Schwartz once said, we must provide more opportunities for the forgotten half, those high school students who aren't going directly to college. They need an alternative path to the workforce and then eventually on to higher education or training. Delaware Tech is helping lead the way already. In the past 3 years, high school students taking our dual enrollment courses has increased 160%. And as the governor said, our advanced manufacturing program is providing students with an industry-recognized credential, a high school diploma, real-world work experience, and college credits. But we can do more. Last year in Ohio, more than 400 high school students received an associate degree along with their diploma. A public school district in California is now offering middle school students the opportunity to take college courses taught by local community college instructors. In fact, just last month, a 7th grader graduated from his local community college with 2 associate degrees. If they can do it, so can we. At Delaware Tech, within the next 5 years, we need to keep expanding our access for opportunities to high school students, but why can't we also reach deeper into the middle schools and offer those young citizens the same opportunities and the same jump start on their lives? We'll challenge ourselves to do this because our success as a society depends on providing each and every one of our youth the opportunity to contribute their skills and their talents to our economy. Delaware's business and industry, our state government, our nearly 1 million citizens, we will all benefit when every young Delawarean is afforded an early path to success. Just a few weeks ago, we all watched more than 1,500 Delaware Tech graduates walk across the stage at commencement. Confident in their achievements, but perhaps also a little bit nervous about what the future might bring. Uncertainty about the future is not new, but our challenge is to recognize the opportunities we have to create our own destiny. Our future may lie beyond our vision, but it's not completely beyond our control. It's the shaping impulse of America that neither fate, nor nature, nor the irresistible tides of history, but the work of our own hands, matched to reason and principle, that will determine our own destiny. It's the work of our own hands that will determine our destiny. I invite every single one of you here today to join Delaware Tech on the next leg of our journey as we work together, using our own hands, leveraging the power of education to deliver excellence, change lives, and create a brighter future for Delaware. Thank you very much for being here. Thanks, man.
Is that all right? Great vision, too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thanks so much. Thank you. We'll do another one. Thank you. Thanks for being here. Thank you. Thanks. Thanks for everything.
Okay, so as we wrap up today's ceremony, I would like to extend a special thank you to J.P. Morgan Chase and Company. No, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Where are we? Yes. I would like to extend a special thank you to J.P. Morgan Chase and Company for serving as a major sponsor of today's ceremony. They have made a significant contribution to the college's 50th anniversary fund, the full amount of which will benefit the greatest needs of all of our students at all 4 Delaware Tech campus locations. Another major sponsor of today's event is Delaware Technical Community College's own Board of Trustees. This sponsorship consists of personal contributions made by each board member in honor of Dr. Brainard's presidency and in support of the college and the work we do. On behalf of the administrators, faculty, staff, and students of Delaware Tech, thank you for this generous gift. Our Board of Trustees is a great source of pride for the college, and we are grateful for your belief in our students, our mission, and our aspirations as an institution. And now I would like to introduce Ms. Lolita A. Lopez, a member of Delaware Tech's Board of Trustees, to provide closing remarks for today's program.
Thank you, Justine. We're almost there, I promise. I was going to say good morning, but I'm not quite sure I can say that right now. So good afternoon. On behalf of Delaware Tech's Board of Trustees, thank you for joining us today and for being a part of this historic occasion, the installation of our 5th president and the signing of the legislation which created Delaware Technical Community College exactly 50 years ago today. Dr. Brainard, congratulations. We have every confidence in your successful leadership of this wonderful institution and in your vision for our future. And to the entire Delaware Tech family, thank you for your commitment to the college and to the success of our students. To all joining us at today's ceremony, we are honored by your attendance and grateful for your partnership as we continue to fulfill our mission of providing educational access and opportunity that connects Delawareans with jobs right here in the state of Delaware. There is a lot to celebrate today, and we are grateful to each and every one of you for your shared belief in the mission of Delaware Tech and in the aspiration of our students. Together, we will continue to deliver excellence and change lives for the next 50 years. Immediately following the ceremony, Dr. Brainard will host a reception outside of this room for all attendees. Please stand for the recession and remain standing until it is complete. Again, thank you for your support of Delaware Tech.